What if you ready? You ready? Call this meeting to order. Parish of Ascension Recreation Committee meeting, April 8, 2021, it's 5:30. I'd like to have roll call. Myself here, Travis Turner here, and Donald Wagerspack and Mr. Joe Robert. We have a invocation and pledge by Mr. Robert. Let us stand.
Let us all bow our heads. Jesus, thank you for this beautiful weather, this spring, this time of new. Help us take this as with the parish. New things, new blessings. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, I'd like to thank everyone for coming, and we appreciate the young guys that just walked in with the Donaldsonville West Ascension Recreation Champions. I want to thank Mr. Ricky Compton and Mr. King, and also, last but not least, our own Michelle Tompley. We want to thank her for doing such a great job. At this time, we'll have I'd like to have the public comment. If there's anyone wishing to speak on anything in the public comment, you can sign in at the desk. If there's no public comment, we'll move on to item number 5. We'd like to move the director's report, move it down and have the West Ascension Recreation Basketball update with Miss Michelle Tompley.
How y'all doing this evening? So we do here tonight, we have our 2021 West Ascension All-Star team. We are extremely proud of this group of kids. They placed first in the South Louisiana Lafourche Invitational, first in the Mandeville Invitational, and lastly, they are the Acadiana State Final Four champions with a 22-0 record. Bitty basketball.
Thank you. 22-0.
That record hadn't been seen in Bitty basketball in over 20 years. So they went out and they represented Ascension Parish really, really well, and we're super proud of them. So we're going to acknowledge them tonight with some certificates and some pictures. So first we have up our programs coordinator, Mr. Jerry Butler. He coordinates the schedules, the games, the registration. He's pretty much my go-to, do it all, get all, everything. Next we have up Coach Donald Gibson. Donald?
He's on the way.
Okay.
He's on the way.
Okay. Assistant Coach Donald Brown. Assistant Coach Kenneth Miller. Trayshawn Jones. Chad Elsie. What?
Let's get him coordinated, Mr. Butler.
Jamal Brown.
Get him coordinated.
Quentin Dabney. Donald Brown. Jacob Julian. Makai Harris. Cortez Johnson. Jerian Johnson. Jadarius Rome, and Kenzie Littles. We're super, super proud of you guys. If y'all wanna come down and take. Comment, do you wanna go in the picture?
Oh, indeed.
All right, guys, we ready? On three. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
All right, Michelle, let them out.
Okay, Mom. No, they taking, the moms wanna take it. Take it over.
Congratulations, guys. Pleased to announce that
You can now go to the podium.
we had two players who really was recognized, Jad Elzy and Dabney. Those two MVP, All-State, both of them.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Again, we'd like to thank the parents for coming and thank the parents for allowing the kids to participate in the program. And we look forward to the banquet and look forward to having a great time during the banquet. And we ask that you all continue to do the things that you've been doing and doing a real good job in the program. The program is excel in so many ways, and we're very thankful and grateful again for those parents that's been supporting and that's been out there supporting their kids. Also, I can't say enough about the director, again, Mr. Butler, coordinated. He's done a great job and is doing a great job. Did a great job with the basketball, and also my good friend, Mr. Donna Gibson. He's not here. He's on the way. I talked to him on the phone, and he had to go and pick up a kid like he normally does all the time. He should be here in a minute, but he is on his way. So again, we'd like to thank you all for coming. We appreciate everything you all are doing. And again, good luck. Look forward to seeing you all at the banquet. And again, Mr. Butler, thank you. And Mr. King and Mr. Ricky Compton, we appreciate your vision and insight and giving us the help and the support that we need to get this thing going in the direction. And we'd like to thank each of you all, the board here, for allowing us to do the things that we do. We look for better and bigger things up ahead, and we're going to need each and every one of your support. So thank you, and again, congratulations. The next item on here, Mr. Robert have something to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Coach Thomas was saying, 22-0, that's an impressive record, and it doesn't matter what level or what age you're playing. I mean, that's an excellent, or a level of excellence that requires work, requires practice requires dedication, requires everything in life that it takes to be successful and to do well. And that's out to all those kids, every single one of y'all. The coaches, man, I'll do some coaching here and there when I have a chance, helping out the school and this and that. And I mean, just the amount of responsibility you have on you, and to coach kids on a stage at this level, and to keep them excited. I mean, that means a lot, and it's y'all guys, and you that give us a bright future, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert, and again, congratulations to the whole organization, and I know Kenneth not here, Donald is here, the coaches of that team, they did a super job in conducting and handling themselves, so I'm very proud and very honored to allow them to have done the job that they've done. Good job, and continue to do the job that you all are doing. Thank you all. Our next item we have the director's report by Michael King.
Yes, sir, and I just want to take a second. Also, thank you guys. Y'all are awesome. Congratulations. That is absolutely amazing what y'all did. It's really awesome. And I want to thank you, Councilman, for having me here. And again, I know I've said it before in our last meeting, but I really do appreciate the opportunity. Really looking forward to some great things we've got going on with y'all. Here we go. Skip through a couple of these. We do have a PowerPoint going here. All right, so first up, it is now gone. There we go. We have a little quick update, and I promise I will be quick through these. We have an update on the dog park. Leadership Ascension is securing quotes, so they are getting quotes on concrete, fencing, and dirt work. So hopefully we'll be making a lot of progress on that very soon for our First Parish Dog Park. AP Baseball, another super exciting thing. Opening day starts on April the 19th. So again, a big shout out to the guys over at Impact Sports AP Baseball. They've been a big help in getting this rolling. Registration, we've got 711 players. That's 58 teams. And I do want to point out real quick, if you look at the breakdown of players, this is what I'm really excited about. If you look at the first three rows there, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, those age groups are huge. And they're only going to get bigger and better, and that's how we grow this as we keep going. So really excited about that.
So you 5 and 6, that's 100. I mean, I'm looking at
Right, 168 just in the 5 and 6. Mm-hmm.
14
So-
teams.
So hopefully that number keeps growing in years to come, and as those players keep aging up, that's when we keep growing the program, and it keeps going from there.
What about the? Okay.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you just switched it.
Okay,
Question I had was about
for softball with AYSA, they've currently registered 470 players, and theirs is pretty standard across the board, pretty even throughout there. And so then with Ascension Parish Adult Softball Association, we're looking at 9 teams, and the men's league is 7 teams. So all in all, we have about 1,200 registered just with those, and that's not counting because we're still taking registration on the West Bank for that as well. So, and that's looking pretty good, and so we should have quite a good bit of involvement in baseball and softball in the parish this year. Next up, splash pads. So Donaldsonville and Oak Grove splash pads are going to open up on May 1st. So go ahead and get your swim trunks ready. We're going to be out there. It's going to be good. And then we have another one we're trying to expand. So we're working with the Ascension Parish Library to open one at the Dutchtown Library, and they've been given the notice to proceed with the drawings, and we will hope to have that out to bid in the next 60 days or so. All right, this next item, or the next part on here, this is something that I get really excited about, so sorry to maybe bore you with some of the nerdy things, but this is really important to us growing as an agency. So just kind of moving forward, developing a quality park and recreation agency, and aligning with best practices. So I've got on here just a few things that few organizations I work with. So Louisiana Recreation Park Association, National Recreation and Park Association, the National Alliance of Youth Sports. There's a lot of organizations that will help us. They have a lot of resources, a lot of people that I work with that kind of provide those best practices and a lot of information that should help us as we grow. And then I'll go ahead and go into. So NRPA, the National Recreation and Park Association, puts out this annual report called Park Metrics. And so basically I just included 2 little things that I can pull off of here. I know it might be a little difficult to see, but it kind of just looks and measures Across the board, so it's a comparison of agencies of different size, so we would fall into the 100,000 to 250,000 resident range. So it kind of gives us a comparison to see where we are. And so the way that we're going to use this is to, as a benchmark and a metric, to compare where we are currently to what the national average is for the most part. And, try to inch closer and closer to that and eventually exceed it. And so the second picture there is just a little snapshot of some of their key findings. And so these are some of the things that, we'll kind of start looking at as an agency to help us as we start measuring what it is that we're actually doing. And this next little item is something that I think we should be shooting for. It's CAPRA, so it's the Commission for Accreditation of Park and Recreation Agencies. And so I know there's a lot of words here, and I hate reading from a slide, but I will read a couple of these quotes that come from this. And so it's NRPA's Commission for Accreditation of Park and Recreation Agencies, CAPRA, provides quality assurance and quality improvement of accredited park and recreation agencies throughout the United States by providing agencies with a management system of best practices. And so there it is again, it's that management system of best practices, and they do that by providing a set of standards. And now I won't make you read all of this booklet with all of that in it, but not right now at least. But it's 154 standards, and we must meet 36 of the fundamental ones, and then 106 of 118 non-fundamental standards to meet accreditation. And so just to kind of give you a little heads up about what some of that is, so you know kind of where we're going through with that. I mean, it's some basic things like mission, agency goals and objectives, vision, and then some really intensive ones that are making sure that we're following through and doing what we're supposed to be doing in terms of a park and recreation system master plan, a strategic plan to see how that carries out, a recreation programming plan, making sure that we have set way of creating new programs and measuring them. There's also a systematic evaluation process in there. So a lot of ways of measuring what we're doing and making sure that we're doing those best standards. And so it's a 5-year cycle in terms of when you have to get accredited, be reaccredited. So it is a long process. So what I'm telling you now is we're not doing this tomorrow. We're not doing it next year, probably not even the year after that, but it's something to give us an idea to work towards. And so a lot of agencies use this kind of as a roadmap. And to tell you how difficult and how stringent it is, there are only a little over 100 accredited agencies in the country, and there are 2 in Louisiana, one being Breck, one being New Orleans, and I certainly hope that we are the 3rd one. So that is something for us to shoot for, and that's something that we're looking at. And I think it's definitely, starting with it now as we're really getting rolling will make it a little bit easier and give us that kind of clear vision and something to shoot for as we're creating all these new opportunities for everybody. So again, it's something.
Mr. Waggersberg, you had something?
I was gonna let him finish the whole thing. I had a
that's
question
it.
about the previous slide.
Yeah.
Do we know where we fall? I'm assuming we fall underneath that average, but
That would be correct.
do you wanna go over that next time we meet?
Yes.
Or- Okay.
Yeah, I can
Figured
pull
that.
a full report of all of this, just to call out the one that we're looking at right now on the left, that residents per park. So for a 100,000 to 250,000, the median is 2,889. We are about 1 per 5,800. So,
About half,
yeah.
and that's counting all the baseball parks.
Yeah, well, because that would kind of count as one park when you have all the fields all at one and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you that we have more fields than the average when it comes down to that,
Right.
when you look at those. So there are some things that we are above, but there are quite a few that we need to move up. But that's the whole point. It gives you a snapshot at
Yeah.
where to look at and to improve.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Mr. Joe Robel.
Can you go back to that slide one more time?
Sure.
We have the ideal is 2281 residents per park.
Yes.
One thing I'd like to see or look into is distance or average distance for residents to walk to parks.
Yeah.
And look at having parks strategically placed throughout everywhere to where we kind of start forming that community.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I didn't mention it, but that is another metric in all of this. NRPA in particular has a 10-minute walk campaign, and so it's exactly that. So they recommend that you have everyone living within 10-minute walk of, or about a half a mile, I believe, or no, half a mile from a park. So that's kind of like their ideal scenario something you can shoot for. So I definitely agree with that. And looking at where they're placed and how to get there, park access is a huge issue.
And possibly do a lot more sidewalk networks for
Sure.
the ones that are further, or even the ones that are that close.
Yep.
We have a lot of high-volume highways with traffic. To connect these parks would be great.
Completely agree.
Any other questions? Are you finished, Mr. King?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Our next item will be number 6, the new recreation signage and drainage aid and Clurod Eagle Scout project. Mr. Michael King.
All right, so moving right along, we did want to recognize Aiden Kluat and his dad Stuart came to us with an Eagle Scout project. They were supposed to be here tonight, but Aiden actually has a track meet right about now that he was not able to be here. So they came to us wanting to do a new sign for the Roger J. Kluat Memorial Park, formerly Santa Ma Park, and it was perfect timing because we had already talked about doing new signage, new branding, and so you can kind of look on here and see that we've got one of our older signs out at Jackie Robinson up top, and then the memorial sign for Roger J. Kluat at the bottom. And so then you'll see our new sign with Aiden standing right next to it. They built this, so him and his Eagle Scout guys. I've got quite a few pictures of them working, pouring the concrete, putting the bricks down, and building this thing up. So unless we can find a whole bunch of Eagle Scouts, we won't have the brick at every park, but we are going with this sign at every park. So the lettering will be the same, the look will be the same. And the really cool part about this, other than the fact that it just looks really nice, is the silhouette behind it is unique to each park. So being over in Santa Ma, they've got a gator. I believe the next one we've got coming up is going to be Jackie Robinson. We're going to try to get that out for Jackie Robinson Day, which is April 15th. It's got Jackie Robinson silhouette in the background, and then Modest obviously has some cane fields in the back and so things like that. So we've got a lot of good stuff going on with that as well.
So we'll be, this will be at every park.
Yes. Not all at once, but we're going to be rolling them out over the year, correct. And I believe not necessarily, again, not the brick layout of this, but the sign itself. And we're going to make the little metal frame for it to slide into. That way, if over time it starts fading, it's really easy to replace. You just slide it in and out with a new one.
Did we ever get, Mr. Compton, we ever get the backlog for Lemonville Park? Do you ever get a design that you?
We talking about the drainage issue?
No, I'm talking about the design.
Oh, the design for lemon. Oh, no, I actually haven't thought about that one yet. So we were focused on Jackie Robinson because Jackie Robinson Day was coming up. Modest, what we're going to do next, because that's where we're planning on doing the adult softball league out there. But certainly I will put my Lemonville design thinking cap on and work on that one next.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And in case you don't know, Ricky is the brains behind that. Mr. Compton is coming up with a lot of those designs, so he's doing a great job.
Any questions? Any comments? Next on the agenda, we have the number 7, the cooperative endeavor agreement with AYSA, Mr. Michael King.
And so this is just a renewal of the Ascension Youth Softball Association agreement, and so you have that in your packet. It's standard, it's just a renewal of the same one that they have every year.
Motion.
Motion by Travis Turner,
Second.
second by Darrell Wagaspack. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passed. Number 8, Ascension Parish Skate Park at Oak Grove update and grand opening. Mr. Michael King.
All right, and yeah, for that one, I believe there we go. So if you see with the, there it goes again. All right, We have a picture down to the left. That was only about a month ago, or sometime mid-February, when I took that, and they've made a lot of progress. This big picture to the right was from this morning, so it is pretty much up and ready to roll. And with that being said, we are announcing that we're having our grand opening on May the 1st from 10 a.m. to noon. Obviously, you are all invited. Look to see everybody out there. Maybe get a couple of you on a skateboard. We'll see what happens. But we definitely will have a lot of fun. There will be a ribbon cutting, skate competition, some demos, a band, some food. A lot of good stuff happening out there that day. So I really hope everybody gets to come be a part of this.
Any questions? Mr. Robert?
Is this going to be located next to the dirt bike track that we're doing?
Dirt bike track, you say? There's no room for a dirt bike track over there?
So what you're saying is we're doing a dirt bike track?
No. Oh, nice try.
If I could add something. So today, I went out to look at the park because I hadn't seen it since it was completed construction. And there were two adolescents running remote control trucks through this park. And I called Michael and I said, add that to our list, because as we continue to increase funding, particularly if we are successful in the sale of our sewer system, we want to go out and look and see what other communities have as far as features and amenities and add those to our park system. And I think a little remote control car park would be awesome. It's not a huge expense, it's not a lot of area, but it's something that could be a unique thing to the area. And when you talk about a BMX track or mountain bike trails or a cross-country track for our high schools, those are all things that we've talked about and want to think about, and where can we place them and how can we offer other amenities to our community. So absolutely, I would love to do a BMX track somewhere, but I want to co-locate it with something else that you kind of get some of that synergy between uses.
Well, I know they have leagues that go all over the nation,
Yes.
and they have a pretty big following.
Right.
Mr. Compton, I want to mention, I mentioned this before. I just want to say I mention it now because it's up before. We talked about, a while back, I mentioned about a skate park on the West Bank. And I'm not sure how far we are with that or where we are with it, but it's still in motion. Hopefully we can look at a spot somewhere over there.
Right, and to me, I would say, we haven't given up on relocating Aben Park, and I think as we move into second and third quarter of this year, we have 2 parcels of land that we think we need to surplus and sell, which would allow us to start looking at other properties. And, perhaps if we have a spot that's on the highway where all eyes are on the street, that may be a location to build a skate park in Donaldsonville.
Sound good, Mr. Compton? Any other questions?
I just wanted to make sure that Aben Park, you're saying, and I understand why we're looking for a different location because of the property issues. But I do want to make sure that location is close enough for the residents of Aben.
Oh, if we buy a piece of property, it will be in Abend. Yes, sir.
Okay, and the skate park or anything wouldn't be a substitute.
No. It would be a piece of property in Abend that if it's large enough that we could accommodate a skate park as well as a basketball court and a playground, that we would look at the needs of that community. But no, the park that we're going to build in Abend will be in Abend.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Robert. No other questions. Let's move on to the number 9, Parish Ordinance, Park Rules.
All right.
Mr. King.
Yes. So there was one more thing in your packet that is park rules. And basically what I did was I took the ordinance and just made a few changes to it. And if we approve to go to council, I'll get with legal and we will draft this up appropriately. But I kind of wanted to, it read better like this so you can kind of see all the rules together. So what we would actually be looking at changing would be Section 15.2A, which would be amending park hours, and it reads, generally, all parks close at dark unless participating in an organized activity pre-approved by the recreation director. And then the rest of it would remain the same with all your organized activities of when they must be concluded and lights on a school night versus non-school night, all of that would remain the same. Then in section 15.2B and E, we're actually just amending the name of Santa Ma Park to Roger J. Kluwat Memorial Park, removing Ascension Civic Center, and adding Richard Brown Community Center. And so that would be for B and E. They're essentially the same. And then the big additions would be in item G, which would, yes.
No.
Oh, okay. Item G, which would read, use of tobacco products or e-cigarettes, vaping are not permitted in public parks. Item H, it shall be unlawful for any person to use indecent, vile, or profane language in parks which may cause a breach of the peace. And I, which reads, unauthorized vehicles are prohibited from driving onto turf grass, trails, or in unauthorized areas. No vehicles are allowed outside designated parking areas.
Motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Dow Wagonspike.
Second.
Second by Mr. Joe Robert. Are there any discussion? Any objection? No objection, motion passes.
All right, thank you. And I did want to point out real quick, just some examples of updated park signage. So once we get through that, we can start including some of the ordinance in with the park rules. I know they're kind of difficult to see, but just to kind of give you a heads up of what it is, it's a lot of, it's as opposed to general signs, which are no, 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 real negative, you can't do this. We don't want to be the no police. So there's a little bit more friendlier language using some pictures, just to kind of make sure that everybody kind of sees a heads up of what's going on. So those are just a few examples of where we may be going once we start changing some of these.
Any questions, any more questions? Ms. Tompley, I'd like to just take a minute to recognize one of the coaches just came in with one of the kids. I'd like to recognize the kid that coach would stand and recognize. If you have anything to say, Mr. Gibson, you are welcome to say it and recognize the kid that you have with you. Glorian Johnson?
Dorian.
Dorian.
Jorian, okay. Come up. You have your certificate, Mr. Gibson.
Good afternoon. My name is Coach Gibson. Been in the recreation department for over 25 years, and we finally done something that wasn't done in maybe another 20 years. And I end up having a good group with a good coaches there with my son and a nephew of mine and the director, the parish councilman, Coach Thomas, to succeed with these kids this year. And it was hard, but we made it. And at the end of the day, I'd like to congratulate everyone for accepting us and inviting us here. And I appreciate all what y'all acknowledge these kids to recognize that if you do the right thing, life will show a good future for you. And I do it for the love of the game, and we don't get paid for it, you know. And I just like to continue on doing it till the day I die, dealing with the kids. They're trying to save someone if you can't save all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gibson, and anything you want to say, young man? We thank you for coming.
No, sir.
Thank you for coming.
Let me tell you a little something about him right quick.
Mr.
they had-
Director,
They had three,
Mr. Jerry Butler.
we had, and it brings back reality because we was in a situation, we was playing against Patterson. And the coaches got together and wanted to go with a different scheme for this game for some reason. And I say that to say this because we played the game really slow, and we're not a slow pace team. The team that they had was strictly press, run, gun, shoot, going back the other way. This particular game here, we almost lost. The score was 30, 38, 39 maybe, and we was down. We had 3.7 seconds on the clock, and coach called a timeout. I put my head down, I said, well, this might be the end of it. Well, this same kid right here, we all just saw, and that one right there, they wind up trapping them throwing the ball in bounds at half court. Well, he picked him from behind with 3.7 seconds, and he won the game at the buzzer. So everything was done for a reason. Otherwise, we'd have lost that game there by 1 point, but we was able to hold on to the victory 22-0. So that's something I'll remember about him. You know, he made that last winning shot, and I just knew he wasn't gonna get to the goal fast enough by the amount of time they had on the clock. It ain't my fault if they started the clock late. But the basket went in and we wound up winning. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. Thank you.
He pulled off a Gonzaga,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
3 seconds left. We want to thank you all for coming, and we appreciate all that you all do. And again, Ms. Tompley, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Don't forget to register for baseball. We'll be closing that in the next coming weeks, so we need to have just as successful baseball season as we did basketball season. I want to see them 210 kids come back.
Thank you very much. Yeah. You want to do a picture with the coach and the kid? Okay, all right. There's no other question?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I second that, or we'll give it to Travis.
Motion by Mr. Turner, second by Mr. Robert to adjourn. This meeting is adjourned.